Let me create an instance of this what? Of this class. Using an object handler, let me write var is equal to sleeping students. So this is an instance of this class, and this is what? An object. If I want this code, will it return an error? Yes, it will return an error because we defined a rule in this class that 3 parameters must be passed as the what? As the attributes. Here, we are breaking the rule by passing nothing. Is that understood? So if you run this code, then you see an error because we broke the rule. Or sorry, 3 arguments must be passed so that it becomes what? The attributes of that class. Is that understood? So we set the rule, we break the rule. And that's why you are seeing the error. So these are the parameters that are required. So when I instantiate this class, I did not pass the arguments. And that's why you see the error. So now we have to pass. How many arguments are required? 3. So let's now pass the first name, which is Ayan. Address is what? Address is Getchi. And number is 105. Okay. Now, this is now our class. Sorry, the object. If you run this code, then there will be no error. But nothing is done, isn't it? Because we asked you to do nothing. Let me print var. What do you think will be printed? Not except what? The object only is printed. Is that understood? Except the object is printed. Now let me now make this a practical example of a data type. Then after we are done, I will now make more practical example. So let's make a practical example from an array. If I have this array is equal to 1, 3, 6, 7. Everybody understand what an array is, isn't it? What value do we put in the, what data do we put in this array? Or what type of data do we have in this array? Integers. So the data type of the elements of this array is integer. I can also have this as A, C. What are data types in this array? Integer and strings. Is that understood? So if I want it to be only integer, then I say this array is of type integer, isn't it? We do that a lot in our test, isn't it? If I want it to be only string, then I say this array is of type string. I may also make this array, because we are only putting data types there, right? Integer or string or whatever you want to is as the element of this array. But we want this array to have data type of sleeping students. Want it to be of what? Of type sleeping students. That is, the value in this array will not be 1, 2, 3, will not be 5, 6, 7. It will be of data type sleeping students. Is that understood? Is that understood? Good. I repeat, I want to make the elements of this array to be of type sleeping students. If it's of a data type integer, integer is from a class. If it's from a data type string, string is from a class. Also, sleeping students is also a class. Do you understand? So, but we did not see integer, we did not see the class of string, but we can see the class of us sleeping students, isn't it? So I want the values added to this array to be of type sleeping students. Is that understood? So how do I now add the values? To add the value, I need to create an instance of this class first before I now add the values. So let's create an instance of this class. Is that understood? And that is what? That is an object, isn't it? Then I now write, then let me write value1 is equal to sleeping, value1 is equal to sleeping students. And I must pass 3 things, isn't it? So let me pass the first student, Ion. Ion is the first student. The address is Lagos, and the number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In case you want to call him, okay. Then value 2 is equal to sleeping. Can you now see? I have another object handler that is different from the first object handler, isn't it? Because there are two different objects now, two different values. Then I pass another parameter. Is that understood? So anytime I call value 1, I'm only referring to Ion from Lagos and this number. If I call value 2, I'm referring to something else, not the same. Then this becomes rec from Keza, and the phone number is 098765543. No, I want to make it an integer value. Okay, good. Then value 3 is equal to sleeping students. Then I have setter. Okay, setter. So I have an address of office. No. And number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are the three. I've created what? An object from three objects, isn't it? Then I will now pass this object into the array because one object is a value. One object is a value. One object is a value. But it is of type sleeping students. Is that understood? One object is a what? Value. But it is of type what? Sleeping students. And sleeping students requires 3 arguments. Is that understood? Now then I say array is equal to value 1, value 2, and what? Value 3. How many elements do you have in this array, everyone? You have only 3 elements. And are those elements integers? Are they string? Are they both string and integer? Are they both string and integer? No. Are they complex data type? No. Are they characters? No. What are they? Sleeping students. Is that understood? Then, so it's like we created our own data type. That's what it means. Then let me print value 1. Sorry, let me print array 0. If I print, okay, before I print array 0, let me print the length of array to confirm that it is what? It is only 3 values, isn't it? So if you print the length of arrays, how many values did you print? 3, because we have only 3 elements in this array, not 9, not 10, only 3. Is that understood? Now let's now print the first element in the array. The first element in the array should be print what? Array 0. This is the first element in the array, isn't it? So what do you think this will return? No, it only returns the objects, because the first element in the array is an object. The second element in the array is an object. The third element in the array is an object. But different objects, not the same object. You know, I inserted the class different times, isn't it? Not the same, different time with different handler, not the same handler. Is that understood? So this will return different objects. So if you look at array 0, this will return, can you see? Objects, not Ion Lagos. No, it's an object. Is that understood? So if I print array 0, then I write print array 1 and array 2. Array 1 and array 2, isn't it? This will return 3 different objects. So that will be, can you see? Different object arts. Can you see the arts? Different values. telling you that they are not the same objects. Is that understood? Even though we instantiated the same class, but they are not the same object. That was what I was trying to tell you at the beginning. Is that understood? So let's take a look at the first object. For the first object has how many values? The first object has how many values? 3 values. But why are we not saying the values? Because we are not interested in saying the values. Now, are we not interested? Yes. Let's assume we want to see the name of array 0. I think the first object, we want to see the name. Then we'll now write print array 0 dot name. Do you understand? If I want to see the address of array 1 dot address. If I want to see the address of array 2 dot address. You will now use that dot to access the attribute and methods. But this class does not have method. And that's why you don't see me putting brackets in the name. Or so if you put bracket, is a method. Without a bracket, is an attribute. Is that understood? So if I run this now, what is it printing now? The name of the first object, the address of the second object, and the address of what? Of the third object. Now we can see the value from the attributes. Is that understood? So can you now see that I use dot, the attribute of each class, to access the value? So if I want to see the number of array 0, that will be what? Dot what? Dot number. And that's why when you are dealing with file handling, you use a variable name as a file handler is equal to open, then you now say something dot read, dot write, array dot append. That's where it comes from. Is that understood? So I hope everyone understands this very well now. Any question on this? So that means that for one element, it's equivalent to 3 values. One element, how many values? 3. But if I want to see any of the value, I just use dots. But no method for now. So this is an example of how to use it as a what? As a data type.